16. That's what? That's 16 pages itself. Alright, I guess we're going to do just chapter 15. Salem's Children by Mary Leader, a 1979 horror book about witchcraft and obviously its relation to Salem, Mass. Trying not to break the spine, but it's not working too well. Chapter 15. Charity and Damon arrived unexpectedly after dinner. Rowan had gone back upstairs. Dr. Brune had fallen asleep over a book, and I was trying to learn Winnebago basketry from Dana. Occasionally, my glance would stray to Damon's mother, who sat with Carrie in the large wingback chair playing the old game about the church and the steeple. It was an enchanting tableau. The old lady leaning forward, her softly waving white hair shimmering beneath the table lamp, while Carrie leaned unsteadily against the thin knees. With her golden ringlets, her fawn eyes, and her delicate pink skin, she might have been my bisque doll. Why did I have to think of that? The back door slammed, shattering the moment, and Damon strode in, carrying a bottle of wine and one of brandy. We're going to celebrate, he announced. Celebrate what? Oh, you're being here, he replied vaguely. I'll get glasses. I said, rising, come on into the kitchen and play bartender. No, don't go, Mrs. Decorah, Damon said to Dana, who was gathering up her weaving. This includes you. She sat down again. Mitty, I'd prefer some cranberry juice if you have it, she said, casting a warning glance at Mother Carrier. Where's Rowan? Charity asked. Sleeping, I hope, I replied. She's been home with a cold, and I want her well enough to go to school tomorrow. What do you got, bruv? Oh, she looked disappointed as she set her knitting bag on the floor and sat down near her mother-in-law. Out in the kitchen, I arranged glasses on the tray, got the cranberry juice out of the refrigerator, poured some into a small glass for Carrie, and filled 2 of the wine glasses. Come on, Mitty. Don't tell me you're going WCTU on me, too, Damon protested. I ought to, I said severely. One is for Dana and one for your mother. She won't enjoy being treated like a child, but she's very fond of cranberry juice, and isn't it better for her? I paused, embarrassed. Forgive me. She does have a problem, doesn't she? Did Dana tell you that? He emptied one of the glasses into the sink and proceeded to fill it with wine. So Dana's been telling tales, has she? Mother staggers at times because of her arthritis. There's no record of alcoholism in our family. Drinkers, yes, but they could handle it. So can Mother, a glass of wine. He picked up the tray and brushed past me, leaving me with tears stinging in my eyes. Why the hell is she crying? All right. As I stood there wiping them, I realized I'd forgotten to carry out the garbage. I picked it up and started for the back door. Voices drifting in from the living room made me pause. What is this, son? I heard Mother Carrier ask. Something the doctor ordered, he replied. Wine? Oh, no, I don't think I'd better, Damon. A glass won't hurt, Mother. I was seething as I deposited the garbage outside, and I gave the back door a vicious swing. Wood closed on wood over the middle finger of my right hand. I reeled into the kitchen, sick with pain, as the others circled about me. Dr. Brune bandaged my finger, and Damon gave me a shot for pain. I refuse to lie down. Will a shot of whiskey or whatever really fucking ease your pain in your crushed finger? I'll be all right, I assured them. Dana, would you put Carrie to bed? I hope it isn't serious, Mitty, Mother Carrier said. To Dana, said as Dana lifted Cariad off her lap. There was a slight slur in her speech, and wine had dribbled on her blue dress. I kissed Carrie and gave her a hug. Don't want to go to bed, she began to wail. It's past bedtime, I said. Dana will tell you a story. I sat down giddily on the sofa. The painkiller was beginning to take effect. Damon brought me a smitter of brandy, or a snifter of brandy, sorry. Here, take this, Mitty, he told me. It'll be better for you than wine. I sipped it slowly, feeling the warmth steal through my limbs. He seated himself beside me. We came up here on business tonight, Mitty, he said, but if you don't feel up to it, we could postpone it until tomorrow. Charity looked up from her knitting. It can't wait too long. She's right, he said. We need to know your answers soon. The book is Salem's Children by Mary Leader. She also wrote the book Triad, which was made into the song, which was the inspiration for the song Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. A warning bell pinged. What was Damon trying to do? He knew liquor and painkillers didn't mix. I swirled the brandy in the glass, sniffing it, but left the rest untasted. Damon, have you seen our old home lately? His mother remarked irrelevantly, almost hidden in the wing-back chair. Yes, mother. His voice was warily patient. The front porch is already underwater. It won't be standing long. I love that old house. It's like me sinking. I'd never heard her talk like that. It was a lovely house, she continued, wasn't it, son? Yes, mother. Through his teeth, he turned back to us. She's right. It was one of the fine old places here. Salem's Children by Mary Leader. It's about witchcraft, 1979 book. Yes, mother, through his teeth, he turned back to us. She's right. It was one of the fine old places here. Remember the clubhouse you built in the maple tree? She persisted. Yes, mother. He knocked his pipe impatiently against the ashtray on the end table. My grandfather was the richest man in town at one time, and then the river washed his holdings away. I grew up hating the river, and I mean to prove someday that the Carrier name can't be dragged down by a blind, mindless aberration. And I've always loved it, I replied, surprised at his vehemence, even though it took Gareth. But that wasn't the river's fault. You still blame Iris for that, don't you? Charity's tone was as sharp as her knitting needles. I wasn't going to get into the old argument. As you say, Damon, I continued, ignoring the interruption, it's a blind, mindless thing, but human error enters in, too. Forgive me, I must be honest. It seems to me you've done very well. You have the only medical practice in town, a beautiful home, you belong to the country club, you're respected in the community. That's not enough, he retorted, his pipe dangling between his teeth. The Carriers were leaders in Peacehaven. My grandfather and great-grandfather wanted to build a utopia here. They were dreamers, but they were practical men, too. Honest, hard-working. They chose the low land because it was richer, and there was a brisk river traffic. Boats from as far away as New Orleans used to dock at Carrier's Landing. Then, bit by bit, it all crumbled away. Was it drink or laziness that wrecked their dreams? No, it was a goddamn freak of nature. Yes, I have all those things you mentioned, Mitty, but I'm still on Mortgage Hill. My income barely exceeds my expenses. I want latitude to do some really meaningful things, to make the name Carrier a household word again, to develop Peacehaven into the metropolis my grandfather dreamed of. His voice trembled and his eyes flashed with the fire of a zealot. For years I've struggled to come up with a workable idea, and at last I have it. You, Martin, he turned to Dr. Brune, with your knowledge of archaeology and your worldwide connection, can be of inestimable help when the time comes. But you hold the key to the entire venture, Mitty. I? But I'm so new here, I really don't know what I could do. Before I go any further, let me say that our committee is prepared to incorporate and issue stock whenever final arrangements are made. In addition to Tyler Bishop, the bank president, and myself, the group includes Caleb Toothaker, Melvin Osborne, Sheriff Good, and others. Naturally, will need outside financing, and Tyler has arranged for that too. He's been in touch with the large Chicago syndicate, and they're practically committed. I have two alternate proposals to make to you, Mitty, or a possible third. Under any circumstances, you would stand to profit considerably. But I have nothing to invest, I said, puzzled. Aunt Bo left me property, but not a tremendous amount of money. Next year, when things are settled, I intend to look for a job. He laid a sweaty hand on mine. You don't have to invest a thing, Mitty. Not in cash, anyway. You merely have to sit back and clip coupons. I laughed uneasily. Where was the catch? Now Damon was on his feet, pacing. This isn't just a hastily conceived idea. We've been quietly picking up options on a number of properties around here, principally the Hobbs farm. We plan to build a combination of resort and residential condominiums on these lands, an entire new city with homes and schools, a shopping mall and recreation areas, including a country club and a golf course. Where did I put that brandy? Oh, here. He reached around the wingback chair and picked up the bottle from the lamp table. I'll get you a brandy glass, I offered. Never mind, this'll do, he said, pouring the liquor into his empty wine glass. Charity's needles, which had stopped, which had stopped, resumed their clicking. You know, that low part of the Hobbs farm? We'll dredge that out to create an artificial lake. Someday we plan to dig a canal to the river to divert some of that water and reclaim part of the old Peace Haven, but that would be far in the future. How are you going to attract people out here, I wanted to know. Madison's the closest city of any size, and it's beyond convenient commuting distance. Are Vale and Aspen dependent on a neighboring metropolis? He countered. Condominiums are a fabulous investment, but those are ski resorts, I reminded him. Granted, we have to have something to attract people out here, something unique, several things, in fact. One feature would be the pageant. Some I'm not at liberty to discuss at the moment, but one involves you, Mitty. Therefore, we are offering you the chance to become a major stockholder. But I told you, I've no money to invest. You have something far more valuable, the cave at the rear of your property. The local legend of a treasure cave is Peacehaven's chief claim to fame at the moment. Did you know that? Even more so than our Salem history, although the pageant may change that. Seems some journalists got wind of the cave and included it in a book about lost treasures, like the Lost Dutchman mine and the fabled treasure of Oak Island. So it's not altogether unknown. Now I happen to think it's no more than a myth. What about it, Martin? Aren't you beginning to agree? Dr. Brune shook his head wearily. So far I've found nothing, but I haven't given up. I warn you, however, there's no evidence of Indian burials in Mitty's cave. Did you explore it completely? No, but I followed each passage until it narrowed so I could go no farther. Since the rock formations predated the period of Indian occupation in this region, I made no attempt to open them up. Frankly, I hope there is no Indian burial cave, because we can capitalize on it when we develop Mitty's cave. When you do what? I straightened up. Charity dropped a stitch. Depending on what sort of a deal we make with you. Of course, Mitty, Damon said, sucking on his pipe. What we envision is the construction of a gigantic totem pole over the entrance and a rustic bridge over the crevice that would lead into the two large rooms behind. We'd blast out the stalagmites and stalactites, except a few for atmosphere, and install a lighting system and showcases so we could house a collection of American Indian artifacts. Then, farther back in the cave, we could plant skeletons and pottery and Indian jewelry to make it look like the treasure cave. If we can ream out the deepest passages, we might let our customers be amateur archaeologists and dig for treasure themselves, for a fee, of course. We'd salt the passages with arrowheads and beads and broken pottery so the lucky ones would get a reward for their labors. Good PR, you know. I've read there's a place down south where you can dig for gems at so much an hour. And your Prince Maydog story, Martin, would be fabulous publicity. Welsh Indians dug up in Wisconsin. Excuse me, he said. I am ignorant of such things. Would tourist attractions induce people to buy homes here? Damon knocked ashes from his pipe into the fireplace. Not by themselves, no, but the tourist trade would bring in commerce, shops, and offices, and the area set aside for light industry would necessitate the construction of homes for workers. In the meantime, the resort areas would be developed at one end of the lake with perhaps a Playboy type club. Eventually, we'd have the Lake Geneva of western Wisconsin. Then would come the condominiums. Now, wait a minute, Damon, I objected. Those are imposing ideas, I'll admit, but they seem terribly iffy to me. Why here? Because of a cave that wouldn't even be authentic? I hardly think a Chicago syndicate would be interested if the project weren't feasible, he said condescendingly. But if I were to consent, I ignored the rebuff. How would you give people access? Would you extend my driveway to the back of the bluff? No, thank you, that's out. That wouldn't be practical, he said. We'd come in from the other direction where it isn't so precipitous. We've been buying up options on right of way acquisitions on properties between the Hobbs Farm and the state highway. He stopped pacing and resumed his seat beside me, one hand on my knee. Now, our plan is to make you one of the principal stockholders or partners in the scheme. You wouldn't have to invest 1 cent, just your land. Also, we'd like to take an option on Mrs. Decora's property. That old house is historic and fits in with the pageant. In your case, if you prefer, you could make an outright sale of the land to us, and we'd be prepared to take out an option right now. Or you might lease us the land. I'd have to give up the Phoenix? Oh no, the land would be divided. If Charity had inherited the property, then we would have devoted the entire parcel to this enterprise, but you can hardly be expected to give up your home. Naturally, Mitty, you needn't make a decision tonight. This is too big a thing to be dealt with lightly. He leaned back and eyed me through the pipe smoke. Now, dismissing the subject, how about a game of bridge? Do you play, Dr. Brune? Yes, but wouldn't Monopoly be more appropriate? He countered quietly. I can't play, I said. You can't? Charity's shock was profound. How could anyone get anywhere in Peacehaven if they didn't belong to a bridge club? I'm not talking about bridge, I said. There's no reason to delay my decision. The answer is no, an unqualified no. Go ahead and build your utopia if you wish, but leave my cave out of it. An ancient Indian burial ground with a fake totem pole over it? That's the sort of thing that makes Indians scalping mad. It's insulting. My vehemence bewildered him. Insult? What do you mean? I should think it would flatter the Indians and give them employment, too. We could hire some squaws and braves to stand at the door in costume and sell souvenir totem poles, and they could stage their dances. Don't you know that totems are sacred to the Indians? His contempt was clear, but those are heathen symbols, the primitive concepts of a savage people. Besides, There are too few Indians to hurt us financially. I'm sorry, Damon, but I intend to keep the bluff as it is, a natural preserve. I rather think you owe it to us, Charity observed acidly. If it hadn't been for that Indian woman, Aunt Bo would have left this property to me. I stiffened. I can't imagine Aunt Bo succumbing to undue influence at any age. Certainly, I never tried to influence her. Charity jabbed her needle into a new row, but Damon slapped my knee heartily. Of course, Mitty. We know that. We don't blame you. Now I'm going to take your answer tonight as final. Now I'm not going to take your answer tonight as final. Think about it. I can understand that the suddenness of this has confused and dismayed you. Besides, you're in no condition to think clearly after that shot I gave you. Had he banked on that and lost? I agree, it does sound bizarre. A totem pole in the back 40. But remember, the cave entrance is a good mile from the Phoenix. You'd hardly know it was there. Think what you'd be doing for Peacehaven. It would revitalize the town, create jobs, give people here a chance at a better life. You could make a real contribution. One Aunt Bo would certainly applaud. He was twisting things around so that I would be a first class heel if I refused. Won't you be doing enough, Damon, just to develop a resort area? I asked. We can't do it without the syndicate, and they insist on the cave. They say that without that, we'd be just another development out in the boondocks. We have to attract people, get our names on the map. A pleading note came into his voice. There are some of us who think enough of Peacehaven to be willing to go into debt to bring this about. We think you should be willing to do your part. I swished the brandy around in my glass. Let's put it this way, Damon. I said, right now, my answer is negative, but if you can come up with a plan that would have genuine historical and educational value with minimal disturbance of nature, one that would really benefit people who need it, not the promoters, then and only then would I even consider your proposals. But the totem pole, the fake burial ground, and the amateur archaeology bit, they're all out. He spilled some of his brandy in his impatience, but those things would make the place. Then he sighed. You're an incurable romantic, Mitty, but I'm not going to accept a hasty no. After all, how can a woman like you be expected to understand business of this magnitude? And you're an incurable male chauvinist, I shot back. I wonder why Aunt Bo ever tolerated you. Is Ward in on this? He shifted uneasily. No, he's no visionary or gambler either. He consulted his watch. We'd better be going. I have to be in surgery tomorrow morning, and I promised I'd stop by and see Allison on the way. The old tightening came back into my throat. She's much too thin. Is she ill, Damon? Oh, just menopausal jitters. Actually, she's strong as a truck horse. Her ability to heal is fantastic. I excised a mole from her back several years ago. Healed practically overnight. Dr. Brune cleared his throat and seemed about to say something, but Damon strode past him and reached for the brandy to refill his glass. One for the road, he was saying, then stopped. My God, what happened here? The bottle was nearly empty. Mother Carrier's glass thumped down on the carpet. Have you disgraced us again, Mother? He hissed at her. The old lady lifted her head. Hello, son. She slurred. I was just following Doctor's order. Damon slapped her hard on the cheek, leaving 3 red stripes across the white crepe paper skin. She began to cry. Even Charity winced. Don't, Damon, she pleaded. After all, you did leave the brandy there. Dana came swiftly into the room and pushed Damon away. She knelt and put her arms around the old woman, whispering to her and stroking her forehead. I think you'd better go, Damon, I said when I could trust myself to speak. Unless you apologize to your mom. Yeah, it's okay. You can slap the shit out of mom. I was merely using shock. What the fuck? I was merely using shock therapy, he excused himself. I'm sorry, Mother. He turned to Dana. I'm disappointed, Mrs. Decora. I really thought you were helping her. Now I see she's worse than ever. A sound like a donkey braying cut short his tirade. The other stood frozen as Rowan crawled into the room, twisting her head this way and that. I had to turn away to hide a smile. She'd improved her act. It was outrageous of her, of course, but it had interrupted an awkward moment. Charity fell to her knees beside her. Oh, my baby, she moaned. It's happening again. Rowan clutched at her aunt's arm. Stop them! Stop them! They're biting me, pinching me, she convulsed, gripping her neck and letting her tongue hang out of her mouth. Then she rolled her eyes up at Dana. Indian woman, why do you torment me? Dana went white, her face a tragic mask. I couldn't let this go on any longer. Okay, Rowan, you've had your audition, I said. Now get up. You're supposed to be in bed. She paid no attention, but slithered across the floor toward Dr. Brune, her tongue flicking in and out. You tried to make me sign your black book, but I wouldn't, so now you afflict me. And, spotting Mother Carrier, huddled in the chair, there she is. She was up in my room just now in the shape of a big red rat. Rowan, stop it, I gasped. I grasped her shoulder, but she recoiled and spat at me. You witch, she snarled, then held out her arms piteously. See where she's bitten me? She palmed the needle out of her pocket and pretended to extract it from her arm. Look, she sticks needles into me. She caught a glimpse of Charity's horrified face and broke up. Giggling, she threw her arms around her aunt, who bewilderedly tried to disengage herself. How did I do, Aunt Charity? Rowan asked. I know Greg's play practically by heart. I want to do on Ann Putnam, but Mother won't promise me the part, even though she's going to be on the casting committee. You'll tell them, won't you? Tell them I really can act. Charity was still white and shaken. Of course, darling, she said. You terrified me. You're a great little actress. She glared at me. You should be happy to have such a talented daughter, Mitty. You should encourage her. I do, I replied, exasperated, but there's such a thing as nepotism. If you'll excuse us, Dana said, her face still slightly pale. Dr. Brune and I will take Mrs. Carrier over to the other house. After they had left, I shooed Rowan back to bed and then accompanied the Carriers to their car. The rain had stopped and the ground crunched with light frost. I'd like to bring Tyler Bishop up here sometime to explain the financial details to you, Damon said, sliding into the car. Don't waste your time, I told him. He slammed the door and then drove away. The gravel scraped behind me. I whirled around, but it was only Darcy. Come on in, I invited her. You gave me a start. I can't stay. The back porch light made her face look more weathered than ever. Have you seen Jupiter? No, I haven't. Come on in and have a brandy. You look frozen. She drained the snifter with one gulp, but waved away a second. Jupiter's been gone since last night. I've been looking all over for him. Don't worry, Darcy. That tomcat's probably out courting. It doesn't court. I've looked everywhere. I just know something's happened to him. She ran her hand through the stubble of her white hair as she leaned against the sink. A red plaid blazer flung over the familiar old faded jeans and pale blue shirt. I have only one kitten left, she said. The last one, unless someone brings me another pregnant cat. I've had all the adult cats neutered. Your vet bill must be astronomical, Darcy. You're right, Mitty. Well, I'll be on my way. If you see Jupiter, call me, even if it's in the middle of the night. As I was climbing into bed, the phone rang. Maybe Darcy had found Jupiter. Hello, submit. The same whispery voice again. Too bad about your finger. Does it hurt? Shall we push the pin in deeper? Oh, that did hurt, didn't it? Would you like a pin in your navel? We can make you hurt any place we want to. Move away, submit. Move away while you still have time. You witch. You pig. You sow. We hate you. That's the end of chapter 15. See how long 16 is. That's pretty damn long. It's gonna have to be the end. Wait, what's that? 17? Yeah, that's way too long. All right, brubs. Unless someone pays me $47 million, I'm done.